Pastor Ron loves it when Mamabear comes. It's funny because if Yolanda's coming, he like mobilizes everybody to prepare for her arrival, and he's like, okay, I gotta go do this, so and so, you know, like I need you to do this in my tent. I need bug coils. I need my, we gotta sweep out the tent. We need to get everything prepared. We need to get the air mattress. We need to get extra sleeping bags. Like we need to make it all nice for when Mamabear comes. Like everybody's mobilized for when Yolanda arrives, and everything needs to be in order and ready for her to come. And he's got to make sure he gets to wherever she's arriving at like way early, because he does not want anything to get in the way of him arriving and greeting her when she gets here. And yeah, it's funny because yeah, it's awesome.
Wipe it.
Look at that.
Wipe it.
When you grow up, you'll be able to do that.
Now what's this?
This is like the corral.
Yes.
So now the kids know how
Tie
to.
the kids to
Yeah, we're gonna put in some different facing board on there. Goes all the way around. Look inside though. Remember our old grill? It's actually getting some use.
Is this from the house?
It's from our yard. Put it on the barge. I'll leave it here. You don't use it. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
And yo, check this out. We need a support beam, so I wanted a table around it. Is that amazing?
Yeah.
Would you like that in your kitchen?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, why are you gonna build me one in my kitchen?
Oh, great.
Well, see, I barely saw when they finished that. It looks so full. They're amazing.
But
oh my goodness, I can't believe
they're
it.
working on the front deck.
I'm thinking
wait till you see the view from up there. Oh no,
like you see in a little bit.
It's a bunkhouse. We're talking.
Wow.
Yeah. It's something the military wished they did. Right below the window, there's gonna be a roof that comes all the way out to cover past here. And it's an 8-foot deck. And then there's gonna be see that staircase that goes upstairs? There'll be a landing that comes out about 4 feet, and then another staircase exactly like that that goes up against the wall. So it'll be out of the ring. And we were originally gonna put the guys kind of like set back like that is, and go right in here, kind of right through all of these tents here. And then the second one over there, but I'm kind of rethinking that whole thing. All right, honey, I need you to climb up this right there. And I'll enjoy the view. And the flies are bothering you. Yeah. Okay. They're just gonna lay eggs in your hair. It's gonna be fine. Have little baby flies. When we came in 98, right away, in 1998, when we came to Alaska from California, the first thing I did was start scheduling a mission trip to a village. We went to an Eskimo village actually on the West Coast, and that was in 99. And then from there, I just knew that was part of our calling and that purpose. And so while we were working on pastoral staff and youth pastoring and actually building a school, starting a master's commission, we were taking teams into villages, and through that, the success of our village outreach, a native man approached me and asked us to join him on the Yukon River. So we brought our team out in 2003, and we've gone every summer on this part of the river, which is called the Yukon Flats region. It's just one section. We focus on about 300 miles of river, of this 2,400 mile river. You know, it's a big river. So we started doing that in 2003, and we'd come summer after summer and do little outreaches and events in each village, and there was some success, and we had some good interaction, but it just felt like we could do more and we weren't doing enough. So we started talking about maybe we could create some event where they come to us. And about that time is when Chief Paul offered his property. He had some native allotment land. He said you could build something for the youth. And so we had been talking about building a camp. We'd done a lot of camps, winter camps, summer camps. So we thought, let's do that. We were already running a camp on the Tanana River outside of Fairbanks. And so I thought, well, we could do it out here, you know, even though it's remote. So in 2008, we started planning. And in 2009, we came out and surveyed the land. And just a few weeks after we surveyed the land, we brought our team out here. It was a small team, but we were excited and had adrenaline, and we had a vision to chase, and we brought what little equipment we had. And people jumped in and donated. We got a new sawmill donated and chainsaws and equipment, and we came out and spent 2 months preparing the main portion of our camp and started building a few necessary structures like outhouses. Very necessary. And when you have large groups coming in, and we built the outdoor kitchen area and established that, and then from there we started building other buildings. But our whole purpose and our focus hasn't changed. We want to influence the young people of this region in a positive manner, so that they don't get in their life prematurely. If you have no hope, then there's no reason to live, and that's where suicide comes in. You don't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to commit suicide, or I'm going to end my life. You have to live through a series of experiences that take away your hope, and the world can't give us hope. We know that that's something only Father God can do, and so we want to come in and really give them that encouragement and that hope, so that they'll have a reason to live, and they'll jump out there and chase their dream, and they'll get out of the situation they're in and change their mindset and have an encounter with the Creator, with God Almighty, and start doing those things, whether it's schooling or vocational training, and step into whatever their destiny is.
When we first moved here, God really put Native ministry on Ron's heart. And God had told him to go and get as much information from other Native ministers on how to go into villages, how to do protocol, what does he need to do, what does he need to learn. So Ron went and grabbed Native ministers and spent days with them, just trying to find out, what he can do to reach the Native people. And he learned so much during those times. And then he started going consistently to a village every year. And then through Master's Commission, we started going on the river every year. And it was through that consistency that he met Chief Paul. And it was in their heart, Paul's wife, and Paul and his wife, they had a vision and a passion, I believe, to build a camp for teenagers also.
Well, whether it was a camp or not, they wanted to use their property to something to help the youth.
We have this camp so we can give something better to the youth. We know the answer. We have seen God do amazing miracles in our life and pull us out and set us free of abuses or addictions or suicidal thoughts. And God did that for us. And so we want to do it for these youth. We see their hardships that they go through in the villages, and we know there's something better for them. And that's why we're here, to give them something better.
Yeah, they're great kids. A lot of them in this region have been in some really difficult situations. Lost a parent or a loved one. Most of them have been touched by death or suicide or some sort of unnatural death occurrence. And this is a rugged region just to live in. So even separating from maybe alcohol abuse and all of the other things that take place, just living a normal life in this region, you got people who die from the flu. You can't get to a hospital in time. Just a couple kids died in the last 3 years from the flu, from things that we really don't even think about. And because by the time you get to a clinic and then to a hospital, sometimes it's too late when you live in a remote part. I mean, where we're sitting right now, we're about 110 air miles from the closest city. We're 150 miles by boat to the closest road system, and then from there we're 4.5 hours drive to the closest city. And so it's a long ways away to get to anywhere. And the reason we built a camp in the middle of nowhere is because there's a lot of wonderful people who happen to live in the middle of nowhere. And we could have conveniently built the camp near our home and had them come to us, but we just felt that was wrong. We're going to build it at our inconvenience, but at their convenience, and build it in their region. They're used to flying. The people of this community are used to boating. For them to boat 150 miles to go to a camp, that's not a big deal. They'll do it to go to their fish camp. It's part of their culture, and it's kind of an indigenous travel and a way of life. It's part of the culture here. So we just wanted to tap into that, and I believe it's been, really successful. These kids love coming here. It's their favorite thing to do all year is come to Camp Nahshii. Inside and paddle us this way. How's it looking? Good. Keep going.
cheap trick.
Cooking the bear was great. Hey! Mom! Alright.
No, not with our big spoon.
I'm not gonna put my mouth on that, but that's awesome.
It's very flavorful.
That's
Like flavorful.
Is that loud? It is pretty loud.
Yeah.
Get up, Belle!
He always wants to come in and taste test everything, make sure it's good. And I tell him I already tasted it. But he still says he needs to taste it. I remember when we didn't even have this. It was a little pit. You had to bend down low just to cook something. I actually remember baking a pie right beside the fire. We didn't have that. It worked. I was actually in Southeast with my family, my sister and her family, when Pastor Ron called me and asked if I wanted to go with them on this first Camp Nahshii excursion. And the Lord was tugging at my heart, and this was just when the Master's Commission ended, and so everybody was doing, you know, going wherever, and I just mainly gravitated towards my family. But I came, and Keely and I went to the village of Chalkitsik to their cultural camp, and just saw a lot of youth and just excitement inside. I remember when we went to the land for the very first time, it was hard work. We stayed up from, I think it was close to midnight to 8 a.m. just clearing land so that we can have a place to sleep. And the whole time, everything that was going through my mind was the souls, you know, lives, young people, because doing that kind of work can make you just really be tired physically and just quit. But the eternal aspect of people, and when you're really thinking about it, just like, wow, we're saving, you know, we're helping a generation find purpose and hope. And so that is my first experiences with Camp Nahshii and the literal meaning of healing. God is bringing healing, using that land. He has anointed that land to bring healing, not only to the youth, but to anyone who goes on that land. And He's continually healing us as well.
Alright, now it's time to move this. I'm just planning on lifting it up enough to throw it that way.
They make machines for this kind of thing.
One, two, three! Alright, throw it!
Great job, fellas. I'm afraid if I'd helped, I only would have got in the way. I bet you're right. You guys are doing a great job.
Throw it over that way like that. Ready? Woo! Hit again. Good work. Here, let me flip it real quick to get it out of the woods so we can carry it. Uh-oh, you want to chop those off? Nice. On the count of 3. 1, 2. Hey, I didn't say 3. You threw it anyway. I forgive you.
I got lightheaded, almost fell off the tree.
I like keeping it home right here.
Like you got a bad back. Do the bad back. Oh, do the bad back. Do the slip disc.
Well, I was born and raised in Alaska, but there's definitely a huge calling for ministry and missions that God placed inside of me directly. I remember it was when I was in middle school. I was at a big youth conference. It was the class right before lunch, and I remember it because I wasn't too excited about the class, but I just went in there because you had to be somewhere, and I was getting ready for lunch. So I went into this classroom and sat in the back, and I like to do music. I like to write music, so I was writing my own raps and stuff in the back. And he started out the class by saying, who here feels called to be a missionary? And I just kind of zoned out. I was like, nope, not me. And I went back down and started writing. I remember him saying, well, I guess you're in the wrong class if you don't believe that you're called to be a missionary. Well, I didn't have anywhere else to go, sat through the class, and at the very end, I was getting up, getting ready to leave. And the speaker comes up to me around the side of this room, and he says, so you really don't feel called to be a missionary? You don't feel called to missions? And I said, no, I don't. And he looks and says, well, that's a shame, because as I was speaking and as I was watching, God highlighted you and said there is a calling on your life for it. As soon as you start leading people to Jesus, it's going to spark a passion inside of you that's like unquenchable. And in my mind, I didn't get it, didn't understand it, but inside of me, my heart leapt. It was like something jumped out. It's like, yes, that's it. And then you fast forward a few years and you see that in my life how there was somebody there beside me, multiple different times. There was somebody there who poured into my life, just straight up helped me and guided me along the right path. And when things would start to get rough or I would start to struggle with something, they'd be there to get me on track, give me spankings if I needed it, or just guide me along that path. And then there's just something about ministry in this region where there's not a whole lot of that just straight up guiding along the right path. There's a lot of influences of depression or suicide or loneliness or different things like that, but you don't see a lot of that coming beside, lifting up and saying, you know what, well, we're going to help you and we're going to lead you along the path of life. And God just put that in my heart, and that's what began to lead me along this mission field, this missions path.
We've got Alaska Dream Center that needs to get home, so we're trying to get them on the empty flights that'll be heading out. Hey, you can just throw the net down on the shore right there. We'll use it later. And we got a team that's coming in from Fairbanks, a team of 10. It's youth and adults. They're flying in on their private airplanes. Hopefully real soon here. We're talking probably an hour and 15, hour and a half tops for them to land from takeoff. So as soon as we get a thumbs up, we're going to go pick up a team and then send a team out. Let's go! And head back
Love
up,
you
please.
guys. Thank you, Dream Center. You're awesome.
Now we should be a little ahead of them. They're just now taking off. Actually, they're in the air already. Thank you, babe, for praying. We unhooked, untied to the front. We're very tied to the front. This motor's not that strong. Burning daylight! Do this, Ethan! Point, we're not going to cut across that flat, right?
Yeah, yo.
Okay, get ready to jump one person off the front with a rope quickly. Quicker is better than slow.
I'm going to turn into
Careful,
lift the engine up.
sandbar might collapse under your feet.
Coming in soft like a baby's bottom. Look at that.
Woo!
Oh, dude, you're dealing with a professional right here.
Are we bringing this tarp up there too?
We don't need to.
Okay.
Could not have done it without this team.
Very nice. Very nice.
Couldn't have done it.
Call the weather information place and ask them for info on the beaver area.
But no, they rely on people like us to give them information because they're not here. Why don't you call and give them information, not ask them?
Like give them a pilot report?
Yeah, why don't you school them? Because they always tell me wrong information. They're like, 0 visibility. I'm all, I can see 3 miles. The ceiling is about 2,000.
Really?
1,500 to 2,000 feet. Don't make me go up there with a measuring tape. That's about what it is.
Okay.
Because a pilot, you just do this. You're a pilot now. You just go.
I don't have
That's about 1,700 foot ceiling.
I hear it. There it is, right there!
Okay. Whoa.
Woohoo! Right there!
See that moving star?
See you, UFO?
Yeah!
Remember that box of ammo you sold me? I killed the bear with it the other day. Yeah. Bernard, how are you, man? Good to meet you.
This is the pilot group.
Pilot group, they all hang out together. I know that. And it looks like somebody went out and graded with pea gravel in between and packed it. It's like, yeah, it's just, I mean, I don't know. So tell all your pilot friends, here's a place to come. Yeah, we want to let this be the stopping point. Put the coordinates of this thing out there, get it out there. And we need a name, I'll tell you. It's the Nahshii Bar. Doesn't that sound like a place? I don't know if we had them. I'm going to the Nahshii Bar. I don't know if we should do that. That might catch on a little too quickly.
The landing, Nahshii landing.
I like that. Yeah, we used to fly fuel out. CPA used to help us quite a bit, and we had an airstrip that we were using, if you remember, above our camp. Well, when the flood hit, a couple years ago, it backfilled it, and now that airstrip's a lake. And so we just abandoned that. Now we do have float planes that can come in on our lake. If you know anybody with float planes, that's an easy one. They used to land on the river next to the camp. How does this rate? Is when we call this a landing strip, this gravel bar that we're getting ready to name, I mean, how do you rate this thing?
This is almost international quality.
Oh yeah, it definitely doesn't get any better than this.
Knowing that you didn't bring a grader out here, it's pretty amazing what the river provided for us as a flat landing spot.
Well, appreciate you taking this team back for us.
Oh yeah, no problem.
That is awesome.
Hopefully we can bring back some gas. Hopefully when we come back.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, that and a watermelon if you happen to see one.
Everybody on the gravel bar needs water.
I'm telling you, man. You know what the street value of a watermelon out here is? Dude, if you're gonna airdrop it, get it on video. That's all I gotta say. That's awesome. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.